4-year lease will cost $2 per square foot per year, and the spot market rate is expected to be $2.2 per square foot per year for each of the 4 years. Trip Logistics has a discount rate of 0.1. Next. So, from the problem, we we can know that the demand is 100,000 units, and the cost for each alternative are here. So for the 4-year lease, it is $2 per square foot or per unit, and for the alternative spot market, the cost is $2.2 per square foot per unit, and the revenue is $2.2 per demand per hour or per unit, and the K or discount rate is 0.1, and we have to compute for the next 4 years. So we have period 1, which is current year, and period 0, and then period 1, period 2, and period 3. So for the discounted cash flow, first we need to compute the profit for each alternative. So for the spot market, the profit is total revenue minus total cost, 100,000, which is the demand, times the revenue, 2.22. Okay, it is a typo. Minus 100,000 units times 2.2. Ya, oke, tipe juga. Jadi ini harusnya 2.2 sama dengan or equal to $2,000. And for the lease, the profit is the same, total revenue minus total cost, 100,000 units times the revenue, 2.22 minus 100,000 times 2, the cost equals to $2,200. And then next, we compute the NPV or net present value. The formula is here. To make it clear, maybe we can just move on. So for each alternative, we compute the NPV. So for the first one, when we obtain warehousing space on spot market, we need to compute like this: the period 0, period 1, period 2, and the period 3. For the period 0, or the current year, the profit is here $2,000 plus the $2,000 per divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1. And for the period 2, it is also the same, but it is squared by 2. And for the period 3, also the same, but it is squared by 3. And we got this number. And for the lease, also the same, the profit on lease here to 2,200 plus 2,200 divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1 plus the same, but it is squared by 2, and plus the same, but it is squared by 3. And the 0.1 here is obtained from here, the discount rate or K, and we get this number. So from this discounted cash flow computation, we pick the bigger NPV, and it is the lease option. So the company need to pick the lease on 4 years. I think that's it for the discounted cash flow, because it is don't have any uncertainty or probability. We can just compute it with discounted cash flow. For this problem, is there any question? Untuk yang soal ini ada pertanyaan.
Kayaknya belum deh.
Oke. Move on. It is wait. Okay, for those who just come here, I already explained the new problem here about the discounted cash flow. I think you can watch the recorded video or later read the PPT. I will upload it on the Google Classroom. And next, I will explain about the example from the book. So there is the solar a company in Europe. They have a demand 100,000 panels per year. The price is 70 euro per panel. They have a probability of annual demand may increase 20%, and the probability is 0.8, or they can decrease by 20%, and the probability is 0.2. I think it is should not be considered. We can skip. And the current exchange rate is 91 per euro, and it is expected to rise by 10%, and the probability is 0.7, or they can drop by 10%, and the probability is 0.3. And we have to make a decision of sourcing over the next 3 years. The discount rate, or K, is 0.1. We need to decide where we should build a plant in Europe or in China. And in here also, we know that the fixed cost in European plant is 1 million per year. The variable cost is 40 per panel. And the range of production in European is 60,000 until 150,000 panels. And in China's plant, the range of production is 100,000 until 130,000 panels. And the fixed cost and variable cost is here. And if they have a demand below 100,000, they will still need incur a variable cost for 100,000 panels, and they will lose sales if the demand is above 130,000 panels, because their range production is just here, 100 sampai 130 doang. Next. Wait. Okay, it is if we compute with discounted cash flow, we evaluate the option using expected demand and exchange rate. First, we need to compute the average. The demand expected to increase is 20% times the probability 0.8 minus 20% times the probability 0.2, and we get 12%. And the yuan expected to rise is 10% times 0.7 minus 10% times 0.3, and we got 4%. And then we compute the expected future demand and exchange rate. So for the period 1, the demand is just 100,000 plus the 100,000 times 12%, and we got here 112,000 panels. And for the exchange rate, we get 9 minus 9 times 4%, and we get this 8.64 yuan per euro. And for the period 2, also the same, but for the here, we use the demand in here, the new one. And for the exchange rate, also the same, we use the new one. And then we evaluate the discounted cash flow for each of alternative. So for the onshoring, the period 0 profit is the current demand, 100,000 times 70, the price, minus the fixed cost, 1 million, minus the variable cost here, demand times the variable cost, we get 2 million euro. And for the period one profit, also the same, but the demand here is the one that change. We use the demand in here, the demand in period one. Then for the period two, also the same, and the demand is we use the one in the period two. And then we can compute the NPV, that is the current profit, the period zero profit plus the period one profit divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1 plus the profit in period 2 divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 2. And we get the expected profit from onshoring is here. And then for the second alternative for the offshoring, also the same. Just compute the profit, but the difference is the fixed cost and the variable cost. And we get this for the expected profit of offshoring. And from the if based the simple discounted cash flow here, the seller should pick offshoring because it has bigger NPV. But from this problem, there is an uncertainty, so we need to calculate with decision tree. So this problem is different from this problem. In this problem one, there is no probability like the demand will increase, blah blah blah, and the probability is blah blah like that. So from this for this problem, we can just compute it with discounted cash flow. But for this problem, there is expected to rise and the probability etc., something like that. And we need to calculate it with decision tree. Before we move on to decision tree, is there any question for the discounted cash flow? Apakah ada pertanyaan untuk DCF? If not, I will count from 5 to 0. If there is no question, I will move on to the decision tree. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we move on to decision tree. But if you still need a question about this, you can still ask. Okay, for the decision tree, the first step is we need to draw the nodes. Wait. Okay, this is the information from the description before. So we have to compute for the next 3 years, which are period 0, the current year, period 1, and period 2. And the current demand is 100,000 panels per year, and the annual demand may increase by 20%, and the probability is 0.8, or they can decrease by 20%, and the probability is 0.2. And for the current exchange rate, it is 91 per euro and expected to rise by 10% with the probability 0.7, or they can drop by 10% with the probability 0.3. So for the exchange rate, we need to be careful because if it says that the exchange rate will drop, it means they will be weakened. So for example, 9 yuan per euro will become 10 yuan per euro. So they will add atau nambah. Terus for the exchange rate will rise, it means that they will will become strength. So for example, that 9 yuan per euro will become 8 yuan per euro. So they will decrease. Okay. Next, we need to draw the decision tree like here. So the first step is we draw the nodes in period 1, which is the current year. So it has only one node with the demand equals to 100. It is actually in thousand, but we just simplify it. And the exchange rate is 9. The period 0 done. And then for the period 1, we have another 4 nodes because from this period 0 we have 4 probability, which are the annual demand may increase with the annual demand increase, and the exchange rate will drop, or actually the value here will increase. So I just sign it by this increase, and the annual demand is increase, and the exchange rate will rise, but the value in exchange rate here will drop. Sorry, will decrease. And then for the annual demand, it can decrease, and the exchange rate will strengthen, and the demand will decrease, and the exchange rate will weaken. Sorry, will strengthen. Okay, so there is 4 probability, and we got 4 nodes here. So for the first one, the demand will increase by 20%, and the probability is 0.8. So we just need to 20% times 100 here is 20, and 20 plus 100, and we got 120. And then for the exchange rate, the probability that they will rise or weaken is, I'm sorry, wait. Oh, I think I wrong with the color, but it's okay. The first one is that the probability the exchange rate will drop by 10% is 0.3, and but by drop it means that it will be weakened, so the number will increase, and then we get 9.9 from the current exchange rate here times 10%, which is 0.9, and we got 0.9 plus 9, and then we get 9.9. Also the same with here, and then for here the exchange rate 8.1. We got this from the yuan is expected to rise or strengthen. By strengthen, it means that the exchange rate will decrease. Like here, 9 per euro will become 8 per euro. And we can just compute 9 times the 10%, which is 0.9, and we get this from 9 minus 0.9, and we get 8.1. And then for the demand, for the decrease demand here, also the same, just 100 times 20 is 20, 20% is 20, and just minus from 100 minus 20 is 80. And we finished with the period 1. And for the period 2, each node here also will have the same for probability, but when computed, we use the value in each nodes. So for example, in these nodes, we computed with the nodes here, with the demand, with the new value of demand here 120, and the exchange rate is 9.9. And for the there is ada nodes yang kayak tumpang tindih itu sebenarnya jadi nanti di tiap nodes ini kan akan dihitung kayak berapa demand sama exchange rate yang barunya di tiap di periode 2 ini. Terus nanti bakal ada hasilnya yang sama. Nah, nanti itu berarti kayak ini nih, misalkan ini di nodes ini ada 2 panah. Berarti kayak sama aja, jadi bisa langsung dipanahin. And when we finish to compute it one by one, and we got the nodes in period 2 is like this. So it is actually quite a long task because we need to compute it one by one, but that's it, the step in decision tree. For the for the steps in draw the nodes here, is there any question?
Kak mau nanya deh, Kak.
Iya.
Kalau untuk dari period 0 ke period 1 itu bukan dikali dengan probability-nya ya jadinya, cuma dikali dengan stated increase atau decrease ya?
Iya, kalau untuk penggambaran di sini kita hitungnya dari bentar, mana sih nih kursornya? Iya, dari sini. Untuk yang probability ini nanti bakal dihitung di step selanjutnya yang table-table itu.
Kak, maaf. Aku mau nanya. Kan it said the next 3 years. Itu tuh bukan nyampe period 3 ya?
Iya, jadi untuk next 3 years itu kita hitungnya dari periode sekarang, yaitu which is periode 0. Jadi dari periode 1, periode 0, 1, 2 itu tuh udah 3 tahun gitu. Itu
aku kira next 3 years itu, tapi starting point-nya di 0 kan, terus kayak masih 3 tahun lagi yang nyampe periode 3, enggak gitu ya?
Enggak. Jadi periode 0 tuh udah kehitung 1 tahun.
Oke.
Oke.
Takut nanti bikin 4 node kan nggak lucu.
Ya itu nanti panjang banget berarti. Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nanya di slide ini?
Kak, yang period 2 itu notes-nya yang sama-sama tuh udah kakak ilangin ya, jadi lebih dikit.
Iya benar. Jadi kalau yang di buku ini udah kayak disamain gitu, jadi bakal dikit. Maksudnya jadi tinggal berapa nih? 9 notes. Tapi mungkin kalau mau dihitung satu-satu dulu kan berarti ada 16 tuh, 4 probability dikali 4 notes di sini, 16. Terus nanti waktu ngegambarin tinggal yang sama disamain aja panah-panahnya. Jadi nggak bakal ada 16 notes, tapi bisa 9 kayak gini. Itu sih.
Terima kasih ya, Kak.
Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nanya? If not, I will count them like before from 5 to 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will move on to the next slide. If you still want to ask this slide, it's okay. First, we move on to the next step. So the next step is we need to evaluate from the further period, which is the period 2. Wait, okay. So these are 9 nodes. So we just move each number in this nodes there to here. 140, and the exchange rate 10.89, and then here demand 144 and the exchange rate is 8.91, and then the demand 96 and the exchange rate is 10.89, and so on. Just move it to here for the demand and exchange rate. And then for the revenue, it is just the demand units here times the price, and we get this number. And oh yeah, the range of production, the range of production in Europe is 60,000 until 150,000. So each demand here can be fulfilled. So there is no problem with the European plan. And then we compute the cost, which is fixed cost 1 million plus the variable cost 40 times the each demand here. So for this one, it is like here, and for this one, it is 1 million plus 40 times the demand here, which is 64,000, and so on. And then for the profit, just revenue minus cost, and we got this. And then next, for the next step is we compute, we evaluate the period 1. Also the same, the value in each node here, just move it to this table. The demand 120, the exchange rate 9.9, and then the demand 120 and the exchange rate 8.1, and so on. There is 4 nodes. And then for the EP, or expected profit in period 2, it is just each probability times the each profit in period 2. I mean the profit in previous table. So in computing here the expected profit, we use the probability in each line here. So for example, the one in here, each probability, the first probability is 0.74. We get this from here, 0.8 times the 0.3, and the 3,320,000 here, we get this from the profit in these nodes. Wait, and here. And then for the plus the probability 0.56, we get this from here, 0.8 times the 0.7, and the times the profit here, which is the same, 3,320,000 from the here profit in this nodes today. And then 0.06 we get from 0.2 times 0.3 times the profit here, the demand 96 and exchange rate 10.89, which is here. And plus the 0.14, we get this from here, 0.2 times 0.7. And we get 3,030,000 euro. And for the other, also the same. Just see for each arrow, and then we compute the PVEP or present value of expected profit for the period 2. The formula is expected profit in period 2 divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1. 0.1 here we get from the discount rate or K. And in this row, just we get from the value here divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1. And for the value here, also the same, just the value in here, 1,688,000 euro divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1. And for the revenue, also the same, the demand times the price. And for the cost, also the same, fixed cost plus variable cost times the demand here. And for the EP for period 1 or the profit in period 1, just revenue minus cost plus the PVEP, and we get this number. And then for the last evaluation for the Europe, which is period 0 evaluation, in period 0 there is only one node, so just move here. The demand is 100 and the exchange rate is 9. And for the EP here, also the same, each probability times the each profit in these nodes. The profit we get from the previous from here. Okay, we get this number, 4,872,000 euro. And then for the PVEP, the same, the value here divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1, and we get this number. And for the revenue, just the demand here times the price, and the cost, just fixed cost plus variable cost times the demand unit here. And then for the profit or the expected profit in period 0, also the same, revenue minus cost plus PVP, and we get this number. Okay, for the evaluation in European plan, is there any question?
Kak mau nanya dong Kak.
Iya.
Yang di soal itu kan ada yang K sama dengan 0,1. Itu dipakainya kapan ya?
Oh iya, itu di ini nih. K itu kan discount rate, itu dihitungnya pada saat kita menghitung PVEP atau present value of expected profit-nya. Ini nih yang 0,1.
Oke Kak.
Berarti dipakainya pas, bentar ada nggak ya? Oh iya, dipakainya pas di periode 1 evaluation sama yang periode 0 evaluation. Pokoknya yang ada PVEP-nya ini sih yang dipakai.
Berarti tergantung soalnya Kak, bisa berubah gitu.
Iya, pokoknya nanti yang pas kan ini yang terjauh periode 2. Jadi misalkan di soalnya tuh sampai periode 3, berarti di periode 3 kita nggak pakai yang PVEP atau yang diskon rate tadi. Terus berarti kalau misalkan soalnya ada 3 periode nyampe periode 3, berarti nanti di periode 2-nya dipakai untuk menghitung PVEP tadi, diskon rate-nya. Bingung nggak bingung? Kalau bingung nggak apa-apa.
Jadi PVP tuh nggak sampai periode terakhir.
Kenapa?
Jadi PVP tuh nggak sampai maksudnya nggak dipakai gimana sih, Kak?
Oh, yang di ini nih, yang kalau yang periode jauh kan ini periode 2. Di periode 2 ini kita nggak ngitung PVEP atau EP tadi, kita cuma ngitung revenue, cost, sama profit langsung.
Oh.
Terus kalau di periode 1 baru deh kita mulai.
Jadi misalnya kalau ada nanti sampai periode 3, di periode 3 itu nggak hitung PVP.
Iya.
Oke.
Ada lagi yang mau nanya?
Kak, ini price-nya dari period 0 sampai 2 sama terus ya 70?
Iya, soalnya nggak ada perubahan untuk price. Yang berubah tuh demand sama exchange rate-nya.
Oke. Makasih, Kak.
Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nanya? Bentar. Untuk I plus K itu pangkatnya 1 terus. Ya, jadi bentar. Ya, kalau di sini pangkatnya akan selalu 1. Soalnya kita kalau di yang ini, yang di period 1 evaluation, kita kan ngebandingin periode 2 sama periode 1. Jadi jaraknya cuma 1 tahun. Jadi pangkatnya bakal selalu 1. Yang di sini juga sama. Yang di period 0 evaluation itu kan kita ngelihatnya dari periode 1 sama periode 0. Jadi jaraknya cuma 1 tahun. Jadi pangkatnya bakal 1. Itu sih, menjawab gak ya? Jadi selfish. Oh, selfish tuh gimana ya maksudnya, maaf? Oh, iya. Oke. Apakah menjawab untuk Jocelyn? Oke, ada lagi yang mau nanya untuk yang plan di Eropa ini? Kalau nggak ada, gue hitung lagi dari 5. 5, 4, 3. Oh ya.
Nanya dikit aja sih, itu untuk yang probabilitas itu cuma dipakai pas kita bikin tabelnya aja kan ya, Kak?
Kenapa? Sorry, maaf.
Yang angka probabilitas itu yang 0,8, 0,3 itu cuma dipakai pas bikin tabel evaluation aja ya?
Oh iya, dipakai untuk perhitungannya, dipakai ya pas kita ngitung tabel-tabel ini.
Berarti kalau yang pas bikin decision tree-nya itu dia pakai angka yang tadi given di awal banget. Iya nggak sih?
Jadi kalau yang di gambar ini, yang 0,8, 0,3-nya probability-nya ini cuma buat ngebantu aja sih nanti pas perhitungannya. Yang di sini, misalkan kayak yang di sini kayak bisa langsung lihat aja gitu, buat ngebantu aja.
Oh, iya.
Tapi perhitungannya nanti pasti tabel. Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nanya? Kalau ada dihitung mundur ya. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we move on to the next step. We evaluate the second alternative. Oh, I'm sorry, it should be onshore option in Chinese. So in Chinese, we need to pay attention with their range of production, which is 100,000 until the 130,000 units, and also the exchange rate, because they are in China and the dollar is from Europe. Okay, the steps also the same. We evaluate from the further period, which is period 2. It is also the same. The number in each node here just move to here. And then for the revenue, because the price in the description already in euro, which is 70 euro, we can just compute langsung. Jadi the demand here times 70, and we get this number in euro. And then the cost one, wait. Oh yeah. So for the revenue, we need to pay attention for the demand unit and our range of production in China, because the demand is 144,000 and our maximum of range of production is only 130,000. It means we can only just fulfill the 130,000 units times the price 70, and we get this number. And then also there is the demand is 96,000 units, and our range of production is 100,000 units until 130,000. It means we can fulfill all of it, 96,000 times 70, and we got this number. And then next, for the cost, here the fixed cost plus variable cost times the demand unit. The fixed cost is 8 million plus 340, the variable cost times the 130,000, because we only produce by the maximum range of our production, which is 130,000. Then we get the cost here, and then for the yellow box here, the same, but it is fixed cost plus the variable cost times 100,000. So even though the demand is 96,000 and we can fulfill it, but our minimum range of production is 100,000. So the variable cost that will incur is 100,000 units, which is our minimum of production. And then for the cost, you get this number. So please remember that all of this for the cost is in yuan. And then for the profit, for the profit we get from the revenue. Our revenue is already in euro minus the cost divided by the exchange rate. So for this number, for example, it is 9,100,000 euro minus 52 and 200,000 yuan divided by the each exchange rate. And for this row, the exchange rate is 10.89. So we get this number. For example, if in this profit, then it will be divided by the exchange rate in here. Okay, next for the period 1 evaluation. also quite the same. The notes, the number of demand and exchange rate in here just move to here. And then after that, we compute again the expected profit for the period 2 or the previous table by each probability times the each profit in period 2. Also the same, the probability here times the profit in these nodes. So the profit here we get from the table here. Okay,
Kak,
and the
mau nanya,
yeah.
Mak,
Ya.
nggak apa nggak, Mak?
Nggak apa-apa, nggak
Ini
apa-apa.
Kak, aku masih bingung sih cara kayak kan itu kan dari euro ke yuan kan Kak. Nah aku tuh belum tahu kata kuncinya tuh di mana kalau kita harus bagi exchange rate-nya tuh di yuan atau di euro gitu.
Oh iya ya.
Bingung nggak Kak maksudku?
Oh iya, nggak apa-apa. Ngerti. Jadi bentar. Mana ya? Oke. Jadi si perusahaan di Solar ini dia kan domisili aslinya tuh di Europe. Terus dia mau bikin plant atau kayak pabrik itu antara di di Eropa atau enggak di Cina. Nah, berarti kalau misalkan dia mau mau bikin pabrik di Cina, berarti dia harus nuker uangnya dari euro ke yuan kan. Nah, berarti bentar. Mana ya? Nah, berarti di cost ini kan cost-nya masih dalam yuan. Sedangkan si di Solar itu kan karena dia di Eropa berarti mata uang dia kan euro. Nah, berarti tinggal si biaya ini dibagi nilai tukarnya itu ini yang di sini tuh berarti kayak 1 euro sama dengan 10,89 yuan. Nilai exchange rate di sini. Bingung
Oke,
kalau
Kak,
masih bingung nggak apa-apa. Ya.
berarti kata kuncinya tuh tadi ya Kak yang dia punya plan in Europe itu demand-nya ada 100.000, berarti dia home base-nya tuh di Europe ya Kak. Dan
Ya.
kan tadi kalau exchange itu yuan per euro berarti 9 yuan per euro berarti yang kita perlu di bagi exchange rate tuh yuannya gitu ya Kak.
Iya.
Oke. Makasih Kak.
Oke, kalau ada yang mau nanya bisa nanya langsung.
Sama mau nanya lagi,
Iya.
kalau di perhitungan sebelumnya, yang
Mhm.
Europe plant, berarti kita nggak take into consideration exchange rate-nya sama sekali ya?
Iya. Soalnya dia domisili aslinya di Europe dan dia mau bangun plan di Europe, jadi ya udah nggak usah pakai nilai tukar kan, jadi langsung aja pakai euro.
Oke.
Oke. Kalau ada yang mau nanya bisa langsung ke tadi. Ini lanjut. Oke, next for the period 1 evaluation. Tadi udah nyampe sini ya. Oke, for the expected profit, the same, each probability times the each profit. And then for the PVEP of the period 2, also the same, just the value here divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1. Then for the revenue, also the same, just the price times the demand unit. And for this one, the 120,000 units, we can fulfill all of it because it is within our range of production. So for the revenue here, and then for the 80,000 unit here, also we can fulfill it by our range of production, and the revenue is here. And but for the cost, because 80,000 unit is below our minimum range of production, thus for the cost we compute it with fixed cost 8 million yuan plus the 340 yuan times the minimum range of production, which is 100,000 units. So we get this number, and for this, it is just normal, just fixed cost plus 340 times the demand here. Okay, and it is in yuan. And then for the profit or the expected profit in period 1, we need to get it or convert it to euro. Also the same, just revenue minus cost divided by exchange rate plus the PVEP. Wait. So for here, the cost will be divided by the exchange rate in here, and this row, the second row, is divided by the exchange rate in here, and the third row divided by the exchange rate in here, and the last row is whether the cost will be divided by 8.1. Next, for the last period or period 0 evaluation, the notes here, just move it 109. And for the expected profit period 1, also the same, its probability times the profit in each node, or we can see the profit from the previous table. And then for the PVEP, also the same, the value here divided by 1 plus 0.1 squared by 1, and we get, oh, I'm sorry, I think it is wrong. Actually, it should be this number. And then for the revenue, it is 100,000 times the price 70, and we get this. And for the cost, the same, fixed cost plus variable cost times the demand, and it is in yuan. And then for the expected profit or the profit in period 0, it is revenue minus cost divided by exchange rate in here plus the PVEP, and we got this number. So for the conclusion, we compare it with in the period 0 evaluation. So for the onshore in European plan, the expected profit is here, and for the offshore in China's plan, the expected profit is here. So the solar company better to onshore because it has higher expected profit than the offshore option. So they just need to build the plant in Europe. Okay, I think that's it. Is there any question?
Kak, jadi nanti intinya conclusion-nya berdasarkan period 0 ya Kak, berarti EP dari EP period 0.
Iya,
Kasih Kak,
jadi
tapi panjang ya Kak perjalanan.
iya, iya. Jadi expected profit di periode 0 ini udah jadi kayak profit di periode masa depan tuh kayak udah ditarik gitu ya ke periode 0 atau periode sekarang ini. Jadi kayak udah diperhitungkan juga periode-periode yang di periode masa depan itu. Itu sih kurang lebih.
Oke Kak.
Sama mau nanya juga. Jadi kan sebenarnya ada dua cara untuk ngitung ini kan. Yang pertama yang pakai simple discounted cash flow aja, dan yang kedua yang take into account probability dan segala macam. Bener gak? Kak?
Iya. Jadi apa?
Nah,
Sorry apa? Jadi pertanyaan.
Iya, jadi kan sebenarnya ada dua cara kan untuk problem solve ini. Yang pertama itu yang pakai discounted cash flow aja, dan yang kedua yang pakai decision tree.
Iya, sebenarnya tapi iya sih, kayak emang bisa dihitung pakai discounted cash flow untuk problem ini, tapi sebaiknya jangan sih. Soalnya kayak kalau pakai discounted cash flow, kita belum memperhitungkan si probability dia naik atau turunnya. Jadi kayaknya bakal kurang tepat. Jadi kan kalau dipakai discounted cash flow, hasilnya kita bakal pilih Cina. Tapi kalau pakai decision tree tadi kita pakai yang Eropa, jadi hasilnya bakal beda. Nah, kalau ada yang probability-nya kayak gini, mana ya? Ya, kayak ada probability dia bakal naik, bakal turun, itu sebaiknya pakai decision tree. Tapi misalkan kalau yang di soalnya ini nih, di sini kan dia nggak ada probability bakal naik atau turun dan sebagainya. Jadi kayak ya udah gini doang yang diketahuinya nih. Nah, kalau yang kayak gini, kita bisa langsung pakai discounted cash flow aja yang ini. Masih bingung nggak? Kalau masih
Oke.
bingung nggak apa, tanya aja.
Jadi kalau misalnya pertanyaannya nggak ada yang probabilitas apa-apa, itu pakai discounted cash flow. Kalau
Kalau
misalnya
yang pakai probability,
sorry,
pakai decision tree.
iya, pakai decision tree kalau ada probability. Kalau misalnya pertanyaannya semuanya udah certain, nggak ada probability apa-apa, itu baru pakai discounted cash flow ya.
Iya, benar.
Oke. Thank
Oke.
you.
Oh ya. Kalau ada yang ketinggalan untuk pembahasan ini, nanti bisa dilihat rekaman videonya ya. Oke, ada yang mau nanya lagi?
Sebenarnya mau nanya, nanti kita expected untuk hitung ini secara manual atau ada cara yang lebih cepat lewat Excel gitu ya?
Nah, buat ujian gue kurang tahu sih boleh pakai Excel apa enggak. Soalnya belum dibahas juga, maksudnya belum di-fixin juga nanti UTS-nya bakal gimana. Nanti deh diinfoin lagi apakah harus manual atau boleh pakai Excel atau kayak bebas sekreatif kalian, nanti dikabarin lagi ya. Hari Senin ya? Jam 1 ujian.
Iya, Kak.
Oke. Nanti gue coba chat bapaknya lagi. Ada lagi yang mau nanya?
Kan nanti slide-nya di-share kan ya?
Iya, nanti slide sama rekamannya bakal di-upload di Google Classroom.
Ada
Nanti
di Classroom kok, Kat. Ini MPT sama video. YouTube
oh ya,
kan, Kak?
tapi iya, tapi ini kan ada kayak soal barunya tadi di awal. Nanti ini bakal gue upload juga di Google Classroom.
Oke, thank you.
Sama sekalian yang video untuk forecast juga nanti ya. Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nanya?
Forecast ada hitung-hitungan nggak, Pak?
Forecast emang biasanya hitung-hitungan deh kayaknya dari MO.
Kak, itu yang forecast itu yang pakai solver itu kan, Kak? Bukan. Pakai solver apa?
Yang pakai solver, bentar. Yang
network model system itu, Kak. Yang materi sebelum ini bukan?
Iya, yang chapter 5 ini. Aduh, nggak ada judulnya lagi. Iya.
Oke.
Bapaknya kemarin forecast pakai solver juga.
Dia bilangnya tuh bakal diajarin sama kakak di solver kan. Terus kakak udah ngirim videonya juga kan di YouTube itu. Nah, jadi kayaknya dia cuma expect kita belajar di kakak aja gitu sih.
Ya udah.
Soalnya kan kemarin temenku kan ada yang pakai Mac kan, Kak. Nah, dia tuh nggak ada solvernya. Makanya kayak mungkin yang pakai Mac harus ngecek ada solver atau enggak, takutnya dibutuhin gitu.
Iya, nanti. Oke, makasih infonya. Terus ada lagi mau nanya?
Kalau yang kelas yang kan nggak digantiin, jadi gimana itu?
Nah iya nih, untuk kelas sesi 7 kan gue udah chat bapaknya, terus katanya tuh dia nggak tahu deh, kayaknya bakal ngeliat jadwal dia dulu. Terus gue tuh udah ngasih 2 opsi antara sesi 7-nya dipindahin ke paruh 2 atau nanti bakal pakai asinkronus dengan bapaknya upload materi di emas, tapi belum dibahas lagi sama bapaknya. Kayaknya lagi lihat respon banget ya.
Iya,
Nanti ya dikabarin lagi.
bisa. Gue takutnya kan kayak materinya kayak tiba-tiba masuk UTS kita nggak tahu itu.
Bapaknya juga kaget sih kemarin dikasih tahu ada libur.
Oke. Kemarin pas forecast bapaknya nyontohin hitung-hitungan juga gak?
Iya kayaknya.
Yang apa moving average, terus gitu-gitu deh Kak, lupa.
Iya nih gue juga nggak full kemarin jadi nggak lihat semuanya. Ingat gak dia
Berarti
pakai
di sini ada satu materi lagi ya?
Nah, kalau sesi 7-nya dipindah ke paruh 2 berarti iya asesnya tinggal yang forecast. Tapi kalau misalkan jadi ada sesi 7 berarti nanti bakal ada asesnya bakal ada 2 video sih nanti. Tergantung sama bapaknya. Iya, belum dibales. Ada lagi?
Mau make sure untuk tanggal UTS-nya itu tanggal 2 kan ya?
Iya, kalau nggak salah aku lihat untuk KKI hari Senin tanggal 2 jam 1 siang kalau nggak salah ya. Benar nggak ya?
Bener Kak.
Bener Kak?
Iya. Oke. Sorry ya, ini gue pas liburan bisanya jadi nggak enak juga.
Apa sih Kak? Tadi habis kelas juga sekalian sebenarnya.
Demi apa ya Allah, ya udah. Kalau nggak ada yang mau nanya lagi, ini bisa diudahin sih asisnya. Kalau nggak ada, gue hitung lagi ya.
Ya udah nanti
Dari
aku
10
nanya PC aja.
Gak apa-apa tanyanya sekarang.
Belum kepikiran.
Oh iya.
Nanti paling.
Oh iya boleh.
Yang di bab berapa yang sebelum ini kan ada tentang asset turnover, terus ROE itu tuh nggak masuk kan Kak? Maksudnya nggak hitung-hitungan kan?
Oh itu chapter berapa ya? Masuk ya?
Kayak
oh iya emang ada sih tapi kayaknya bapaknya bahas banget gak itu di kelas?
Kayak sempet Rani sempet ada nggak sih?
Iya, yang di Excel-nya itu nggak sih yang dia bahas ROE, ROI?
Iya.
Tapi iya dia bahas di Excel-nya, cuman kayak di PPT-nya aja nggak ada hitung-hitungan gitu loh Kak, misalnya nggak ada contoh soal jelasnya gitu.
Iya dulu kalau di kelas reguler ya LSM ini nggak dimasukin sih yang ROE, tapi mungkin buat jaga-jaga gue masukin juga kali ya nanti.
Oh ya, boleh kan rumusnya gitu kali ya Kak?
Iya. Sebenarnya itu tinggal ngikutin rumus aja kan ya ROE.
Iya benar-benar.
Oke. Udah lagi? Yang mau nanya? Kalau baru kepikiran terus mau PC juga nggak apa-apa. Tapi mungkin bakal sedikit late respon untuk minggu ini soalnya gue juga ujian jadi maaf banget kalau misalkan gue agak late respon nanti di chat berkali-kali aja biar gue nggak lupa kali ya. Oke. Kalau nggak ada gue hitung mundur dari 10 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 oke. Karena nggak ada apa nih? Oke, karena nggak ada kasusnya bisa selesai. Makasih yang udah nyempetin datang di hari libur ini. Sorry kalau misalkan ada kesalahan dalam gua ngajarin. Nanti kalau ada yang bingung bisa tanya PC. Makasih semuanya bisa live ya.
Oke, makasih Kak.
Makasih Kak.
Ujiannya.
Makasih Kak.
Semangat.
Semangat juga.